Jason picked the exact score as me. Now he's on the different side.
Yeah.
I listened to Dottino. Now I had been on the fence about this all
Did
week.
he convince you?
But no, I actually wrote this down before we had him on. I think the Giants are going to beat the Commanders. Last week, my initial reaction to that game was, I gave Sam Howell an A-. It was my initial kind of vibe watching the game, and I felt like they had control of that game. But then when you just look at the numbers, and part of that is the way the game plays out. The second half, the Commanders punted the ball 4 times, couldn't do anything offensively. They didn't even finish with 200 yards of offense. So I'm not sold on the Commanders' offense. I'm not sold on the Commanders' defense. You look at some of the categories, they're worse than the Giants. And in a weird way, I was more impressed by the Giants in a loss against the Bills than the Commanders in their win against the Falcons, because I kind of disrespect the Falcons. EB all week was like, they're the Falcons. I just know the Falcons with Desmond Ridder, their offense stinks. Like, if you look at them week in and week out, and they did almost put up 400 yards of offense. So, and Dottino did kind of push me over the edge with all the Saquon Barkley stuff. So I'm going to take the Giants 20-19, and we're going to have a misery Monday.
I think it's going to be a tough game. Pete Prisco thinks it's going to be a rout. He picked the Commanders to win by 2 touchdowns. I don't think it will be. Paul Dottino thinks that this mash unit, you heard him say it, it's a mash unit of injuries, including the starting quarterback, who I don't think is going to play. So you're going to have Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is a respectable backup, but unless Barkley just goes nuts for 125 yards and a couple scores, I just think this will be a bad loss, and you're a lot healthier than the Giants. And the fact that the Giants have so many injuries on the offensive line, I just think that's going to be a major factor. Is Sam Howell going to get sacked 3 or 4 times? Probably. Every team has low sack numbers. They still get to him. But I think he'll still make enough plays, and Brian Robinson will get his number. And I just think it'll be a bad loss. Do they have bad losses? Of course. They lost to the Bears badly. But I don't know. I just think this is a must-win, and they're going to get it somehow. I picked them 20-19. I think it'll be tough. I don't have a lot of faith in it, but if I had to put money on the game, I'd take the Commanders.
By the way, a little weather update for you. Jason usually gives this. I'm just taking a peek. Could play a factor in a close game. Field goals. Daytime wind
blustery.
Projected at 18 miles an hour with wind gusts of 38 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's going to be blustery on Sunday all up and down the East Coast. Maybe that is a factor. I don't know.
But we both, look, it's not like we have a major disagreement. You've got it 20-19 Commanders. I've got it 20-19 Giants.
Yeah.
And that was just coincidence.
But this team is 1-5. They've scored 71 points. If you look at their total scores this year, they've scored 0, 12, 3, 16, and 9 in their losses.
But you would have expected the Bills to rout them.
True.
Because they had the banged-up offensive line against the Bills.
Okay.
And the Bills had 9 sacks against the Giants. So that MASH unit did much better than the Commanders against a common opponent.
But Valdez is convincing me that the Bills, who played in London the week before, there was a factor. If they didn't play in London, would they have beaten them 28-9? Maybe.
Definitely a factor.
Okay.
I think that's a huge
And look, I'm not
factor
saying the Giants are terrible defensively. They obviously can hold their own. But offensively, those are stupid numbers. 0, 12, 3, 16, and 9.
EB, right. I know you're going Commanders. Do you think it's
Commanders.
A convincing win, a close win, a high-scoring game, low-scoring game? What's your vibe?
I'm just going to go with what I hope, because I don't know. Anything can happen. I'm going to say 27-17 Commanders, and, just for your graph, you can put Logan Thomas as the MVP. I need Brian Robinson to go 80 in our parlay. Anything can happen.
Of course.
You'd be a fool to come out here and act like you know what's going to happen.
If I could predict the future, I'd be a freaking billionaire.
Yeah.
But that's my gut.
Team.
That's my gut. If they lose this, bad.
I know this from behind the scenes. Valdez, you believe the Commanders win this thing handily, right?
I think this is a rout. I'm with Prisco in this. The Giants stink. And to be honest with you, their offensive line is in shambles. They just had another lineman go down this week with like a torn bicep. They have a mass unit on that line. And I don't know how they're going to move the ball. I don't know if they commit to stopping the run. I don't know how Tyrod Taylor is going to throw.
I'm with you.
I expect a huge game from the defensive line. this is your get right game for Jack Del Rio's defense and the defensive line. I'm expecting big things from Sweat, big things from Chase Young.
Nice.
This is a feast game. This is where you pat your stats for the year.
All right.
All right, let's bang out these calls. 800-636-1067 if you want to chime in. Valdez and I optimistic.
I mean, Paul Dottino basically called the Commanders poopy
Well,
because he says they can sweep the Commanders. I don't know how
He
that
said
makes you
can.
Yeah, but do you really feel like they can sweep the
They
Commanders?
almost did last year.
It's a totally
A
different
win and a
year.
tie.
It's a totally different year.
I definitely
Different players.
I definitely think they can. Do I think they will? I actually think we're going to sweep them. I actually think we're going to sweep them, and I predicted it before the season started.
All right.
But we'll see. Let's go to Mo in Largo. Mo, what's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I think we smoke them. I think our defensive line just gets after them consistently. I'm thinking something along the lines of 24-13. But, yeah, I think we go up there and pretty much handle it, and I think it's more of a run-dominant game with a lot of zone coverage. And I'm hoping and slightly betting on a defensive touchdown. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right.
I think that's a Valdez vibe, right, Valdez? Because for his start of the game, he believes it's going to be Chase Young.
I think Chase. It's going to be a 3-sack day for Chase, and he's going to be he's going to be disruptive.
That'd be amazing.
This is the game where he balls out.
This is where he earns his bag for next year.
This is the bag game for Chase. Oh yeah.
Remember that one game? It was against the Raiders when Arakpo had 4 sacks.
I'm expecting something similar from Young.
All right.
I mean, you got Drab blocking him.
All right.
I mean, they are just tattered.
But they
with
do have a
injuries.
couple of their starters who are listed as questionable who could play. You don't know. Like, I even think Andrew Thomas is questionable.
Okay, well,
he's probably their best offensive line.
You know he's not 100%.
Evan Neal, same thing.
Let's go to Eddie, Centerville. Eddie, what's up, man? What do you think?
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Friday. Happy Football Friday.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
I think we're going to smoke them, just what the last caller said. JP, you worry about Saquon? Saquon hasn't had a good game against us since pre-COVID, man. I mean, last game, I think he had like 1 touchdown and 87 yards. But before that, the last 4 games before that, Daniel Jones and Jack Fromm was the leading rusher. So, yeah, Barkley, I'm not worried about Barkley because we somehow can contain him. Pre-COVID. I mean, I remember in 2019 when I was there, it was like 45, 35. Daniel Jones had like 3 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns, and Barkley had like 190 yards, whatever. Pre-COVID.
Do you know how many yards per carry he's averaged against the Commanders in his career?
Well,
Yeah, I'm talking about, he pre-COVID, before 2020. After 2020, he hasn't really done anything.
Okay, he's averaging almost 6 yards a pop in his career.
Well, yeah, because he had a 200-yard game in 2019.
No, he did have. He had 2 big games. You're right. Since 2019,
yep.
His rushing yards in the games against Commanders, 57, 30, 63, and 87.
Right. So, and that was 87, I think, was last game, the very last game last year when they beat us, I think, 20-12 or something like that. So I'm not worried about it. I think if as long as Daniel Jones does not play, because Daniel Jones is their best running back.
And he's 6-1-1 against Washington.
Right. I don't know why the Giants don't play with Barkley. Like the guy said before, like they don't treat him like a Henry. They don't treat him like a Chubb. They don't treat Barkley like that. For some reason, Daniel Jones likes to run outside the pocket and take his run plays.
If he plays,
if Jones does not play, I think we smoke him.
All right. Thank you, Eddie.
And I'll say Barkley had 18 carries for 87 yards last December and a touchdown. He had 5 catches for 33. That's still a pretty good game.
It's a solid game.
Over 120 yards of a total offense and a touchdown. That's a pretty good game.
By the way, Cakes has weighed in 27-14 Commanders.
Ooh, nice. Let's go to Henry in D.C. Hey, Henry.
Hey, Henry. Hey, fellas. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. My thing is this. If that secondary can just do their part, and the defense going to do their part, and please run the daggone ball. This guy's so stubborn. Just let that man eat for once. Switch up with Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Let that hole open up and develop. We can win it if we can just run the ball just enough.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right.
I mean,
Thank
if
you
you just
buddy.
look at statistics, that's what they should do. The Giants are giving up 147.5 yards per game on the ground. Only Denver is worse. They're 31st against the run. So the Commanders, who actually are averaging 4.3 yards per carry, which is 11th in the league, The problem is they don't have the attempts, but per carry, they have a pretty good yards per carry average.
All right. Let's go. Is it Watts?
What's up, Watts?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, look, I'm a diehard Washington Commander fan. I've been a Commander fan since 1965.
Nice.
Redskin Commander fan. But let me tell you something. The Giants are going to win this game. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Right? Because Washington does not play hard every single week.
That's
for
true.
Ron Rivera. Look at the Bear game. Didn't we say they're supposed to beat the Bears? What happened?
Yeah.
We're flat. We're flat. The same thing is going to happen against the Giants. They're not going to beat the Giants. That's the way they do against Ron. That's why I've been saying for the last 2 years, Ron Rivera should be fired. Nobody's listening to me. Now, I also say this. If we lose that game Sunday, they should trade Chase, defensive end, trade him, and trade the second-string quarterback back to Cleveland and get some draft picks.
Trade
That's what they
Brissett.
should do.
Trade Brissett.
All right. All right. Thank you, buddy.
Everyone wants Jacoby.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they already have 3 quarterbacks. They've got P.J. Walker,
Yep.
DTR, and
Deshaun.
Deshaun. I don't think they have space for another quarterback.
Yeah, Watts just wants them to get rid of everybody. All right, real quick, let's go to.
Oh, you want to do one more?
Just do one more.
All right. Then nobody's really screened yet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna come back.
I
Look,
think
Paul Dottino.
I'll say this. I
thinks they can
agree
win.
with Jason on the Chase Young trade thing, which was a topic earlier when we hit the Skins. And his name is, in a ton of articles, his name is thrown out there as a possible guy that they would trade. I don't think they would do it even if they lost. Now, if they lost 2 more or I can't remember exactly when the trade deadline is. But let's say they're 3 games under 500. At that point, I think they would ship him out of here to just get something for him if he's not in their long-term plans. Like if the current organization has decided we're going to give Montez Sweat money, he's more reliable than Chase Young. But if they're still in the playoff picture, they're not trading
They
anybody.
can't be 3 games under 500 because they could be 2 games under 500 because they play the Giants and the Eagles before the deadline.
Got
So
you.
lose both of those, you're 3-5.